Hey guys, in this video, I'm gonna get into the electrification of my Pelican Catch Classic 100, and I electrified it with the Watersnake ASP T18. I wanted to keep this thing light. I love the fact that it's very portable, that I can pick this up, carry over my head, put it on my car. I wanted to add a trolling motor without breaking the bank, and I wanted to add a trolling motor that was gonna be super light. So the reason I picked the Watersnake ASP, which you can see over here, is because without the head on it, the thing weighs like 4 pounds. And then you start talking about a lithium battery that weighs 6 to 10 pounds. You're only adding 14 to 16 pounds to the weight of the kayak, and that is nothing. I also like the fact that, you know, for about 450 bucks, I could add a trolling motor with a battery that's gonna last me all day with hard fishing, and it wasn't gonna break the bank. I started looking at Hobie and Old Town and seeing prices from $4,500 all the way up to like $6,500, and you're talking a small boat at that point. And then it's really heavy, you need a trailer. It just, to me, it becomes more than a kayak, it becomes a boat that's still a kayak. I wanted to just see if I could do something like this. I scoured the internet, I looked at a bunch of videos for side mounted versus rear mounted. And I ended up picking the trolling motor mount, ASP style Watersnake, because I felt like it was gonna be easier for me to put together. I think it was. Not sure if it's the right decision because I haven't taken it out yet. I've seen guys build it in the back, and that looked pretty sweet too, but they kind of had a long rod that they custom made, and there's more fabricated pieces that they added. So this seems like kind of a happy medium, the way that I did this. And now I'm gonna go over the build. I'm gonna go how much over each component cost, and the third thing I'm gonna do is take it out of the water, see how fast it goes, see how easy it is to control and maneuver around, lift up and down, stow away, getting out in the water, how long it takes me to install it. So that'll be the third and final component. So now we're gonna go through the build. And I'm gonna talk about, I already did the build, so it's not gonna be like a step-by-step, this is how you do it. More me summarizing the things. I'll go into as much detail as I can. But again, I'm not gonna show you the wiring of the box for the pulse width modulator. I'm not gonna show you step-by-step of how I installed it, but I will go over it a little bit and kind of tell you some tricks along the way. So let's put the hat cam on so that you can kind of see what I'm looking at here. Okay, so start first things first. The first thing that I had to do, and I'm gonna take this off so that I can show you what this looks like underneath here. Okay, first thing I had to do was figure out a way to install this piece right here. Okay, it looks like it could be installed in a rod holder, but for the Pelican Catch specifically, the width of that right there is actually wider than right here, so it wouldn't fit right here. So then I knew what I was gonna have to do is I was gonna have to drill out these rivets, these 3 rivets. These are aftermarket ones. These are what the factory ones, they actually have like a silver in the front. So I used a drill bit that was oversized, drill this out, pop this rod holder out. Then I actually used my son, who's 11, and he came, so I measured this, marked out those holes, drilled holes in there, and then these actually came with these double plastic brackets that are like yoked to get together underneath. So like these two are yoked and these two are yoked underneath, and then the screws go in the bottom of the plastic brackets. So he put his hand in there, I was on top, and he went around and he felt the 2 screws, got the nuts in, and I screwed them in. It worked well with one. The other one, we kind of had to split it in half to be able to get both of them to seat, but that's seated on nice. There's an Allen wrench bolt that attaches this piece to this piece, so that was the next step, putting that on. Then I read about the weaknesses of this thing, and one of the main weaknesses is these hand-tightened little plastic star bolts right here. These are what keep the trolling motor in here, like so. So we'll slide that in here. Now I watched another guy's great video, and he showed, in his video, he explained that the big weakness was he broke this rod because he didn't install these PVC pipes on here to really kind of tighten it down. So imagine this is kind of loose because you're hand tightening it with those little bolts, right? And you get some thrust on your motor, you start going, and as the motor pushes and this is not secured, your motor is literally coming out of the water like this. So then he held his motor with the handle to keep it down. So the motor's forcing it up. He used this to force it down. This is a very weak spot right here. This ended up snapping off on his. So I read in the comments of that video the 2 ways to exploit the 2 weaknesses. So the 2 main weaknesses of this kayak build were right in this device right here. So I will show you what I did to fix it. I just basically followed that comment. I'll put that comment up. I'll link it, or I'll post it up right here. That whoever that person is, I forget their name. They are amazing. So the 2 things were that these bolts, these nuts right here, were too small for this connection right here, or the hole that they go in. They were too small. So they recommended buying some aluminum tape, which I got right here from my local hardware store. And I did a couple, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 wrappings around of the nuts to make them a wider diameter. And now this aluminum tape is tough. So when you put it in here, now this fits in here very snugly. And then I also got these 90-degree PVCs at their recommendation. I also wrapped those, I don't know if you can see, but those nuts, those star hand tighten bolts there are wrapped in aluminum tape as well to widen the diameter there so that the nut fits into the PVC 90 degree really snug and it doesn't slip inside there, because it was slipping inside there. So now what you have is these fit on nice, and you got these really awesome ways to tighten this on the fly. So now you can slip it in there when you're kayaking. Let's say you are just wanting to cruise with your paddle. So you got your paddle with you. You're gonna tighten these off, and you can really hand tighten them really tight. That's why I love this. Now it's good and sturdy right there. It's not going anywhere. You can see that it will not rotate in this thing. And now you've gotten to the spot. It's deep enough. You're ready to actually deploy the trolling motor, and you want to go. So now you're going to loosen up these really quickly. Just reach behind you, loosen them up while you're in the kayak. Drop that down. And then you can hand tighten them when it gets to perfectly 90 degrees. You tighten it up like this, like so. Get them really tight. Now, when this thing thrusts forward, it's not going anywhere. And then you can adjust your depth, the combination of the handle and this thing. So you want to have it go deeper, you can have it go deeper. You want to just barely have it below the surface of the bottom there. You can drop it right here. And then you can always adjust your handle however you want it by just tightening this handle here. Now you can turn it, all the way around if you wanted to. You have the ability to do that. Now, I took the head off here. Why did I do that? Because I wanted to bring it into a pulse with modulator or a PWM. So PWM, first of all, what was on here, the head, it had a forward and reverse, and it had a high and a low speed. That was it. And from another video that I watched, the guy said that with a pulse with modulator, you can actually control the thrust of the trolling motor blades from, well, not 0, because it really doesn't start working until about, as you can see, here's 10, starts moving at 10. So at 10 it starts going, and then you can control all the way up to 100%. So that's 100%. But he said with his kayak, and I haven't tested this yet, but when you go to 75, that's 75% thrust on here, or 75% power, gets the kayak up to the same speed as 100%, but it uses only 75% of the battery life. Now, So I decided to go with a pulse width modulator because you can do forward. You can also do reverse, 0 to 100%. And I just love the fact that you could control how much thrust you wanted to use. It's a very, very, it gives you a lot of variability. It gives you a lot of degrees of tweaking, where if you just have fast, slow or fast, and you can't do the middle, and you can't conserve battery and still maintain max speed. So this is the best way to maintain battery. Now this box right here is a waterproof box, and I'll give you the name of that. It's called the PinFox Waterproof Electric ABS Electrical Junction Box from Amazon. So with this, you know, these 4 screws come out. I had to drill holes for this switch and this switch. So on the underside of this, I drilled holes, installed these. Then I used from Menards Quick Seal Ultra on the underside to waterproof these switches, to make sure that no water could get in behind these switches. And then over here, these 2 things here are called two-piece 10 gauge SAE, 2-piece 10 gauge SAE connectors. So these are also from Amazon, also from another video that I watched. What this does is, so you got the pulse width modulator electric board inside. This brings the power and the motor in. The wires go and they connect into this box inside, into the electrical box inside. And actually, what the heck, I'll show you what the inside looks like. So I decided to open up the box for you guys so you could take a look at the PWM Pulse Width Modulator DC Speed Motor Controller here. So with these SAE connectors, you got one going to the battery here, and then the black and red get connected here where it says power. And then in from the motor over here, the black and red come in here to this SAE connector, and then they move over to here, and I don't know if you can see it right there. They hook up to these screws that say motor plus minus. So they have the plus minus on both there. Here is your box. I took actually a noodle, a black noodle, cut it in half, put that in over on each side of this to keep this from wiggling around. So with the fact that these wires are kind of tense and it's pushed down here, it's really not going to move around in that box at all. Then the cover goes on like this. The screws go back in place, and it's waterproof. Oh, and also on the underside here, you can see, I did see the Quick Seal Ultra there. I put the Quick Seal Ultra around all of these components so that this sucker is going to remain nice and waterproof for us. So moving on to, we got the Pulse Width Modulator box built, and now we need to build the power cord that's going to run from the SAE connector here all the way to your battery over here. So what I did here is I didn't have any like thicker wire. This is 10 gauge wire. I didn't want to go like 10 to 16 or 18. So I ended up picking up some red and black wire from Menards. This is 14 gauge. It works great for me. You could use 10 gauge, 12 gauge, 14. I think that would probably be fine. So I wanted enough to get into this with ease so that I could stash the battery in this little storage compartment in the front. I think I went with about 6 feet of wire, and I used these Kayak heat shrink connectors to join the different pieces together. This is where the SAE connector ends, and then my red and black wire started here. So I got them in the various connectors, heat shrink, and then heat shrink over the top. Just your standard heat shrink. I got a heat gun. I use one of these to put the wire in and split it, but you can just use a box cutter as well. This came with the Kayak. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's got the red, blue, yellow. This is how you crimp these down like so. Works great. And then to cut any wire, I got this awesome wire cutter when I was doing another boat project. So these are the tools I used. So I got my red and black wire going over here, wrapped it in electrical tape, and then up to some of these special connectors here that look like similar to these ones here. They're more heat shrink across the board there, just to make it look tidy. Now, because this is a battery, because this is a kayak, and because you are going to be splashing in a lot of water potentially, I think this compartment is waterproof, but I wasn't for sure. I really like these SAE to Summit bags. I ordered a 13-liter one. It happened to be just big enough to fit the bill here. So what I'm gonna do when I'm taking this guy out is just throw the battery into this SAE to Summit, kind of stuff a little bit of the excess cord in there. So that flips out. You want this thin part to be together like that. So you get the air out first. That'll make your life a lot easier. Then you roll this down several times. You come back here and you do it like so. You take that, I'm gonna drop it right in the hatch here and lay it kind of flat so it doesn't bounce around on me. This actually will come down like that. That locks. And now I probably want a little bit more leash on that. So about that much, so I can get that right up by my feet there. This comes down like that. So I'd have this by my feet. Of course, we'll get all this stuff out of the way so that you can actually see what it looks like in action. Get all this stuff out of the way. Just showing you what I'll use to work on this. But you got your pulse width modulator, forward, crank it up, trolling motor works. You got your steering mechanism here. You crank it to 100, you crank it back down to 50. Okay, so next, let's talk about the cost. Now, the total cost of this build was $427.28. I think I might have missed a couple things, but we're gonna go over the main parts and the components of this. So first of all, the most expensive thing was the Watersnake ASP, and I say most expensive, it was very cheap. This Watersnake right here, the ASP T18, I got it from Walmart for $120 with tax. It was $130.55 shipped to my house. Again, I took the head off of it, but this was $120 from Walmart, $130.55 with tax. Next was the most expensive thing was the Lifetime 45 amp hour battery. Now that is a 45 amp hour, so it should last me all day out on the water. It was $15 off the normal price. So I got it, ended up after taxes from Amazon, $146.80 for that. So that was the next most expensive thing. Then from there, the SAE to Summit dry bag was $31.36. And I can fit the battery and this in here when I'm not using it, just to keep these components dry when I'm not using them. I also went with an Ultra Power Smart battery charger. It's 4 amp. It's a 4 amp charger that does 14.6 volts, which is great because that's what the charging voltage of this battery is, 14.4, so it can go with it. Comes with a couple different SAE connections. It's got the alligator clips. I also wired it so that you can put it in the screw style clips as well. So that's the charger I went with. My Menards run, I picked up the wire. I picked up the aluminum self-adhesive tape, the Quick Seal Ultra, and these two 90s. So that Menards run was $31. And then the Pinfox waterproof electric ABS electric junction box was $10.83 from Amazon shipped. And that one, I'll have a link in the description for that. The Lifetime battery, the charger, the trolling motor, the dry bag, the Menards, obviously I can't. I picked up this 90 from my local hardware shop for Adalones. What else? Oh yeah, so the charger was $28.76. Oh yeah, these SAE connectors, these two SAE connectors that go inside the junction box allow you to bring in, I just scratched on a motor and power so I know which one to hook up to. Those were $12.67. And then inside there you saw the pulse width modulator actual control board. That one was $22.75 from Amazon. That's a DC speed motor controller. I I can put the link down below for that as well from Amazon. Yeah, that really does it. $427.28 for a fully electrified Pelican Classic Catch 100. I believe it's going to be able to go 4.5 miles an hour. Again, I haven't actually tested it. So we'll have to see. But with my live scope, it might be a little bit slower. I know the guy that was testing it said 4.5. I don't think he was using a live scope, so that's going to add another 30 pounds. But if I can go 4.25, that's pretty sweet, and go all day. It has forward, reverse. It's going to make getting from spot to spot really sweet. And with the price of I ended up paying only $400 for this Pelican Catch, plus the trolling motor. I'm in about $850, and for me, versus spending, I was never going to spend $4,500 on an Old Town. So, I mean, for me, this is a really sweet deal. I would recommend it to you. Of course, I'm going to go take it out next, so we'll see actually how it performs on the water. So we'll see you there on the water next. Okay, guys, I'm literally just getting out here, honestly. For part 3, we're going to do the test. I have not fired it up at all. I just kind of got it to where I want it. I don't know how fast it's going to go. I do have Navionics. I'm going to route here. I don't know. I'm just going to start, track my miles an hour so I can show you guys that. So without further ado, let's get it started here. Oh, we're in reverse. Oh, okay, wait. Got to get it tighter. Okay, good to know, good to know. All right, it's always good to make adjustments. Okay, there it is. Oh, okay. Got it super tight. We're not going to go 100% this time. Let's try less. So that's forward. And we'll see what happens. So I want to go this way now. Okay, now we're going straight. That's 40%. 45. There's 50%. Not registering a speed yet. On Navi. Okay, there we go. 2 miles an hour at 50. Okay. Let's try to go 75%. Okay, 75. And we are cooking. We're gonna go this way. Looks like we're going, so I do have the live scope with me today. I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. Turn, turn, turn. It's a little bit slow to turn, but it's kind of because of the way I have the handle cocked right now. But it's not flipping back. Straight is right about here. We are going at, okay, 75% throttle. We're going 2.8 miles an hour, 2.9. All right, let's see if we can ratchet her up all the way to 100. Let's see what 100 does, guys. Let's go ahead and send her 100. 3.6. Nice. 3.5. We are cooking now. And this is kind of relaxing, actually. So 100% with the live scope. Pelican Catch 100. It's quite loud. We're going 3.5 miles an hour at 100%. Yeah, right around, it seems like it's pretty consistently 3.5. I'm guessing if I put the transducer in For the live scope, it'll probably be a lot less. So let's go ahead and do a check with that. Start going again. And we'll see how fast we're going on the live scope. Let's go about 75. 70%. We are going 2.2 miles an hour, so really good trolling speed actually. Down again. Okay, we're gonna drop the trolling motor down so we're out of the weeds. And top speed test with the transducer in the water. So we'll see what we got here. Right now we're running 2.88. See on Garmin says 3.0, 2.9. This is what Garmin's saying. Or Garmin, I'm sorry, this is what Navionics is saying. About 2.9. So 2.9 transducer in, 3.6, 3.7 transducer out. I imagine with the live scope out we might hit 4. And that's, yeah, I love it. It turns really good. Like if I want to turn, let's turn in a circle right now. I'm turning in a circle. Now I got the wonderful sunshine on me. It looks a lot better. But yeah, I can turn on a dime actually if I want to. And if I want to go backwards, we're gonna turn it down, flip it on. Now we're gonna go backwards. Say I came up on a spot too quickly. I want to get out of this spot. I want to go backwards. Here I am going backwards. So yeah, I think now what I'm gonna do is take it to a spot. I did bring a rod with me. Take a couple casts, see if I can catch a fish with my first outing with the trolling motor. So yeah, if you see a little bit more, it's because I caught a fish. To summarize, I love it. Maybe a little bit of tweaks. The only thing I noticed is there was a little bit of slip in one of the 90-degree PVCs on those locking screws to tighten this thing down. When I was really tightening it, I might need to put a little bit more of that aluminum tape around the star bit of the black locking plastic nut that goes inside the PVC 90-degree on one of them. The other one did great. I had to adjust the steering pull a little bit just so that I could turn left better, because if it gets to me, I didn't have enough, so I had to move it out a little bit more so that I have a little bit more steering flexibility. Honestly, it's fast enough. I was not expecting much more as far as miles per hour. I would have maybe hoped for 4.5, but again, I had the live scope in, which is 30 pounds. But the battery up in the front, maybe putting the battery in the back could help go a little bit faster, but we got 3.6, 3.7 for top speed. I think it'll work going against some river flow, which is really the reason I got this, is to go against river on my way back. So yeah, I love it. For $450 to be able to have a trolling motor on my kayak, I think it's pretty darn sweet. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll try to answer if I didn't explain things right. I'll try to do more in detail comments to reply to your comments if you have any questions. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you see a little bit of footage of some fish caught here. But thanks for watching. Yes. No. Oh, just freaking lost a giant, dude. Unbelievable, man. Oh, got him. Yes, got him this time. Yes. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh, what do we got here? What do we have here, guys? Oh, I mean, in my net. Oh, it's a nice bass. Oh, it's a huge bass. No way, dude. No way. Well, I guess this this kayak trolling motor video is gonna have a beautiful ending, I hope. Looks like I got a nice bass right here. Oh my word, so awesome. Got him in the net. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that is gorgeous. Look at that guy. Yes, so cool. What an awesome bass. What an awesome bass, you guys. I'll show you that thing. Look at that guy. Oh man, gorgeous bass. I don't have a scale or a tape, but look at that beauty. There we go. Well, that's pretty stinking cool if you ask me. We'll fire up that trolling motor, get back over where I was just fishing, and see if we can't catch another bass. That was pretty remarkable. I got him on, and then I lost him, and I thought that was going to be the end of that, and then next thing you know, he was on again. So pretty stinking excited about this trolling motor. It allows me to fish, you know, way more lake than I would if I didn't have it, if I was just paddling. Certainly spot to spot, you know, fine movements, getting around, setting anchor. You know, I would say you're probably better off with just the paddle, but for what that was, for what it's worth, that sure was cool. Jerk Junior, quarter ounce pink and chartreuse VMC Moon Eye jig was the ticket on that one. So first outing with the trolling motor, and I'm pretty dang excited about that, actually, I have to say. Pretty excited. I would highly recommend, if you're in the market for a trolling motor in your kayak, you want to do it yourself, you don't want to spend several $1,000s, and you're just really looking for something to get you quicker from spot to spot. Maybe you fish deeper rivers and you want to be able to go with the current and then trolling motor back. Yeah, I would recommend this. Is it perfect? No, it has its flaws. I think this steer stick is very breakable, so I have to be very careful with it. But hey, you can get around quicker than you can paddling. That is for darn sure. So very, very cool. Very, very cool. And that's all the battery I have on that. So let's see if we can catch another fish. If not, I'm gonna close this video out here.
Face the fact that ain't no cap, I'm real. Ain't no cap, I'm real. The plastic bars when I copy my steel.
Got my heart no in the bed. Break you in, then get us every day. Got my heart no